Hey everyone, my name is Joanna Sutton and I'm the author of Take Back What the Devil Has Stolen From You. And just getting up here today, just loading up these videos when I can. And Thanksgiving is actually around the corner, so I can't wait for it to come. I can't wait for it to come. Now I know these are pagan holidays and I know they're not really based off of how they started out, isn't right, but of course we just use that for the good to celebrate and salute to our Native Americans, that showed the foreigners at the time how to cook, how to survive in the winter, and all of the stuff that they contribute. And even to this day, also as well. So, also just giving thanks, just being thankful. And so that's just something I just always see as important as just giving thanks and just being grateful. And remember that regardless of what season you in, always still choose to see the best in it. You know what I'm saying? There's always something good in the season that you're currently in. And that's something that we always got to kind of like be mindful of, because later on down the road when things start to take off, things start to come at a busier, faster pace, you might be looking back at it and say, dang, I know nobody was doing this, or I know my stuff wasn't taking off as fast, or I know my videos won't be in view, but at least I had this, or at least it seemed to be more easier, or at least this seemed to be. But God's gonna always prepare you for where you are going. So just always kind of know that. Just always know. And I put something up also on Instagram and Twitter, and also my community post. Don't wait for the perfect circumstances and conditions to be happy. Remember, happiness is a choice. Okay, happiness is a choice. So it's important, regardless of what stage and season you in. You got to really learn to kick back, relax, and enjoy it. And also, don't allow Satan to rob your joy. Don't allow these other people make it seem like what you're doing is not enough. And just because you don't have a battery in your back and you working overtime, and you gotta, and I'm gonna just say it, I don't care how people feel about it, anybody even view this video, I got an actual life outside of social media. So no, I am not living for the gram. No, I am not living for the tube. No, I am not living for, I'm not doing it. And it don't mean that you're not determined. It don't mean that you're not driven. It don't mean that you don't have all of these great things to come and other things that you're working on. And another thing is, people may not announce all of their moves. So just because it's something that you don't see, or they're not up here announcing everything, there's other things you might also just have going on, but within the proper time and the proper season, you'll go out and reveal it. And so I always tell people first that I'm an author first, I'm a writer first, I'm a speaker first, before any of these things. And so if it's not the content creation route, there is nothing wrong with that. That is not the only way. That is not the only source. Anything could change with that. Like I've touched on the last video, I know people talk about 9 to 5s, 9 to 5s, 9 to 5s, 9 to 5s. But at the same time, also, and they're telling the truth, anything can change within that as well. But social media, your stuff, your income can go up. It can go down as well. So it depends, again, yes, how much work you can put in, but they can change some policies up at any given time. So before we go ahead and try to down somebody and say they ain't doing this and they ain't doing enough and doing that, I done seen so many people say that. And then when stuff starts to hit slowly, one by one, oh my goodness, it's like you got to be cautious and careful, because those same words you spewing on somebody else, it might end up returning onto you. You got to be careful. You don't know what was prophesied over that person. Oh, I already know what's going to happen. What's going to happen for me? I already know. So that's another thing. And even if you didn't never get prophesied over, you better still claim it and know that God still has something great for you. Don't let these people make you feel like you ain't doing enough. Don't let these people act like what you're doing, it just doesn't measure up to their standards and their level. I got a real life outside of social media, and I know they're gonna look at, oh, this is an excuse, and oh, people wouldn't. No, I'm gonna balance myself. I'm gonna pace myself, and guess what? If God said this is not your main stream of income, hey, that's absolutely okay. I don't feel like I lost anything. I don't feel like I didn't work hard enough. I don't feel like I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So this is like somebody, if they block, right? So my gift in writing and blogging, I'm not going down and shame the other person because I see that their gifting ain't in the same area that mine is in. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's another type of gift that they have, and there's something else that they might be able to do better in a certain area, right? So I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it at that. But don't again. Another thing I'm gonna put on Instagram, Twitter also as well is don't allow anybody to dictate and determine your success. Don't follow those words of see those poisonous words and seeds and venom that they're spewing over your life. Basically, kind of like cursing you, saying you ain't gonna grow, you're not gonna do this, and you're not gonna do that. Because I have seen so many people. Ooh, yes, I done seen so many content creators say that, and then every time I used to turn around and find out what was happening within the next year, them people done reap some of them seeds and words that they done sown onto somebody else. So God always told me to be very cautious and careful what we're saying about other people, especially people that are supporting us, and we're acting like their support isn't good enough, and we're acting like this ain't. And it's just like I had to think in the back of my mind. I said, why do they act like that? Is it that they want somebody to kind of come up so fast and they don't have to work as hard? You know what I'm saying? Like when I imagine this type of stuff, it reminds me when I was in Organo Gold. And Organo Gold is a good company too, by the way. Very good company, by the way. It reminds me when I was in Organo Gold. Now, the people that I had, the mentors, and the people that that was a little over me, they were pretty cool. Like I said, cool people, cool company. It was cool, right? So I ain't got nothing really bad to say about Organo Gold. And I made direct sales on that too, also as well, selling that coffee on my college campus. So yeah. People was like, they couldn't believe I had to stay. I had up to was like, where's this coming from? I said, this is Organo Gold. And all I did was actually just go by the teachers' offices and stuff and just ask them. Now, most of them like that brewed coffee. And I just had instant, but I guess they wanted to support also and just try something different. So thank God for that as well. But when I think of people like that want to give up on you, and because you don't have a battery in your back and you got an actual life, and you got to, and there was a lie. You're not about to apologize for having you a real life outside of social media, and that you ain't up there 24 hours a day. You know what I'm saying? Handling responsibilities. God said, how dare you? Amen. I know I'm a little bit animated, but he had me thinking like, how dare you sit here and try to feel bad because, you remember there was a time and a place where you weren't working. You remember the time, and yeah, you was working also on your gifts, but you remember at the time when you was coming out of college. And when you come out of college, it'd be hard to get the land some employment. Now, I know that with certain people, it was, it didn't take them long. It didn't really take as much. But when you are coming from college, it's hard. So you remember there was a time when you was wanting a job and it felt like everybody was saying no. It felt like all the doors was closed. Guess what? Entrepreneurship feels the same way. It feel like all the doors closed. It feel like don't know. It feels like it's much more challenging. It's much more harder. And you're gonna run across these people along the way that you support, but they down you. You support, but they sneak diss you. You support, but they put these words on you and say that they make it seem like once they get to a certain level or a place, they don't really need their audience anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I have seen this so many different times. Trust, I done seen it so many different times. But I had to be reminded like, hold on, Jane. You're not about to feel bad for working. You're not about to feel bad for helping out with, what I'm saying, getting these bills and stuff on out the way. You remember there was a time where you needed this. You needed a job. But as a college student coming out, it just felt like that was nearly impossible. But now that the COVID-19 is out, of course, now that COVID-19 is out and now that all these jobs are hiring, it's just really crazy about the workers' resignation. But anyways, y'all, let me stay on track. I might have to get me some note cards. But I just remember there was a time and stage in the season where it's just like, hold on, Jade. And then you actually got a job now that you really, really like. Now, I'm not going to stay up there forever, of course. But no, don't let these people feel bad or whatever stage and season and place that you're in. God has a different way, a different route. And again, as mentioned, nothing is overnight. And so, again, just enjoy the season that you are currently in. Don't let these people sit up here and make you feel bad. Oh yeah, I was talking about organo gold, y'all. See, I need note cards. I need note cards, and when I start to speak, I need note cards because I already forgot. So when people want you to have a battery in your back, and they, because you went huffing and puffing, and you end up here 24 hours a day, it don't mean that you got a bad work ethic. It don't mean none of that stuff. And I know that's how it looks when it don't look like a lot of, when somebody may not post as much. But God said it is not going to be their only stream of income. So we don't need to focus all of our eggs, all of our attention, all of our energy into something that could change within the snap of a finger. So, yes, businesses are risky. Yes, they are. But one thing I say is it's yours. It's yours. Anything can happen to it, but it's definitely yours. So, but with the organo gold situation, it kind of just reminds me of when somebody wants you to push, and not just for your good, not just to make you better, not just to improve some things, but when somebody wants you to, and they got this criteria where they feel like, again, you got to have a battery up in your back 24/7, 24 hours. You ain't got no real personal life, and you got to just, and then you bring that up, it's an excuse. And because you're not a social media content creator at heart, yeah, you do this. And let me just remind you, part of me coming up here was marketing purposes for the book, but also to enrich and empower and encourage other people in their lives. So this is what this was also for. You know, this is kind of like the beginning of a speaking career. So again, it may not came in a route in a way where it's flashy. You know, it's the views, you popping, you know what I'm saying? But this was basically seeds to something else greater and better. So basically what I'm trying to say is God could basically be using this as a stepping stone to something better. But all right, but back to the analogy, or back to what I was saying about Organo Gold. Organo Gold was a great company, great people. But a little bit of this push energy, you ain't doing enough. And I didn't get that from Organo Gold, but it just kind of remind me of how some of these people, maybe I shouldn't have used Organo Gold because they were actually kind of cool, but it kind of reminds me of those mentors, the ones that want good, that some people may have had, and they are looking to have somebody come save them, wanting somebody to blow up overnight sensation, or maybe not overnight sensation, but they're looking for a meal ticket. So since you ain't producing fast enough and it ain't coming fast enough, and they want to hurry up and just kind of, you know what I'm saying, eat off the fruits of your labor, but because it ain't coming fast enough, and that's what it is, I'm going to come out with it, because it ain't going fast enough, and because that person ain't producing the certain type of results that they want to see within a quick, short amount of time, you always stay hearing patience on the end that's mentioned, but from what it looks like and from what it sounds like, they don't really have as much. They don't really have as much patience as they say they do. But it kind of reminds me of some of those multi-level marketing. I'm not gonna say pyramid schemes. All of them are not pyramid schemes, but it reminds me of multi-level marketing when there's a mentee, or there's a mentor that's like, get this, and you could have sold this and you could have did that, but they were always still told they weren't good enough. Because why? They weren't looking for somebody's development. They said they were looking for somebody's development, but really it looked like they just wanted somebody that was kind of racking in the money and the results so somebody can come and save them. Now that's kind of how it was looking. So when somebody give up on you that fast and that quick and say this ain't producing and this ain't moving and that ain't growing and that ain't all of this, honey, and putting all of that on you, the devil is a lie. I don't receive any of that. And if somebody tells y'all that also as well, don't receive any of that. When it's all said and done, you gonna stay remain standing. When the ashes and smoke clear, you gonna stay remain standing. Trust me, I done been through this over and over before. This ain't the first time I done seen people do this. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first time I seen. So just letting you know, it just reminds me of the multi-level marketing mentors that was pushing. The person sold this, the person sold that, the person did a great job, no pats on the back, nothing. And they still was told it wasn't enough. And then what I see, what a pattern that I also see, not just with multi-level marketers that are, and it's not all of them, by the way. Let me just say that disclaimer: it's not all of them, by the way. But what I've seen in the level of content creators, not just content creators, also some business owners also as well, or people that are on social media, they're quick to call somebody broke-minded when something not going their way. They won't broke-minded when they supported your product. They won't broke-minded when they supported you. They won't broke-minded when they sold words of encouragement. But they're broke-minded because you wanted them to do something on the fast enough time, and it didn't work out to you according to your timeline. It didn't work out that way. So now we're gonna say they were just wasting time, they weren't serious, and we're gonna put all these other labels and things on them. So I done seen this show, unfortunately, almost like 1,000 times. Lord Jesus, you be trying to support your own, but it's just, and it's not all. There's some nice small content business owners, social media content creators, business owners, whatever category that you're in. There's some great and amazing ones. So, but there's something that you will also kind of walk through. So that's what it is. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Like I said, multi-level marketing people who were, that ain't enough, this ain't enough, that ain't enough, this ain't enough, this ain't enough, that ain't enough, and you still be putting, and to them they're ready to go on to the next, because what they was really looking for some kind of meal ticket. They was kind of hoping they didn't have to work as hard. And listen, I get nobody wants to work as hard. I understand that, but it just seemed like to me they was putting this focus and this 100% focus on this person. And this person, they come through and say that they with a cape and rack in this and rack in that. All of a sudden, now they're being told they ain't really as useful. Now all of a sudden they're being told that they're not. So listen, God only knows what he has in store for you. And I just want y'all to still just be encouraged, because this stuff will happen. I had touched on this on a video before. This stuff will happen. This stuff is going to happen, but don't let it knock you down. Don't let it break your spirit, and don't let that to stop you. And don't allow people to say that you don't have this determination and you don't have this drive and you don't have. And listen, let's say if that was true, it may not be for that. It's because it's not for that area. It don't mean that you ain't got drive, determination. It might be, it's just the focus may just be on something else. That don't mean that you're not determined. We cannot judge somebody just because we see, oh, they ain't posting, they ain't putting this up, they ain't doing that. These people got actual lives. And yeah, I keep hearing that, oh, well, that's an excuse. People are not going to use the excuse of the 9-to-5s and everything. And yeah, you can definitely make time when you want to and desire. But guess what? If God's just using this as a stepping stone, so may it be. But anyways, remember that the best is yet to come. Don't let nobody speak these poisonous, curses, venomous words to you about what you doing, what you ain't doing. You ain't got no battery in your back. You got an actual life outside of social media, and they want to say that you doing this and you ain't doing that. Don't let these people speak these words up upon you and have you feeling bad, because this is the stage and season that God got you in, and because it's not. Hey, but don't worry, things will still work out. Remember that the best is yet to come. Like, share, and subscribe, and you already know what to do. Till next time, y'all. Bye-bye.